Imagine this for a second. Two people start at the same point in life. One wakes up at 5 a.m. every day, grinds for 14 hours, barely takes breaks, and prides themselves on working harder than everyone else. The other? They wake up later, they hate unnecessary work, they cut corners whenever possible, and they spend plenty of time resting. Fast forward 10 years. Which one is wealthier? Most people would bet on the grinder. But here's the twist. It's often the so-called lazy person who comes out ahead. Why? Because wealth isn't built by doing more. It's built by doing less of the wrong things and more of the right things. And today, I'm breaking down the lazy person's secret to wealth. 7 principles that flip hustle culture upside down and show you why doing less can actually make you richer. The myth of hard work. We've all been told the same story since childhood. Work hard, put in the hours, sacrifice your time, and eventually, success will reward you. But let's be honest, that formula doesn't add up. If hard work alone created millionaires, construction workers, cleaners, nurses, and delivery drivers would all be rich. These are some of the hardest working people on the planet, yet they're often underpaid and overlooked. The truth? Hard work is only part of the equation. The real secret lies in leverage. In building systems, assets, and habits that allow you to multiply your results without multiplying your effort. And that's where lazy people shine. They hate effort so much that they naturally look for the fastest, smartest, and most effective path to the goal. Let's break down exactly how they do it. Step 1. Leverage systems, not sweat. Lazy people despise repetitive tasks. If they have to do the same thing more than twice, they're asking, how can I automate this? Take money management as an example. A grinder might spend hours every month manually paying bills, moving money around, checking balances. The lazy person? They set up auto payments, auto savings, and auto investing. It takes them one afternoon to build the system, and then it runs forever. The same goes for business. A hard worker might spend all day cold calling or chasing clients. The lazy person builds a sales funnel online, an ad, a landing page, an automated email sequence that brings clients to them while they're sleeping. Here's the kicker. Once the system is built, it doesn't care if you're tired, distracted, or on vacation. It keeps working. And that's the power of lazy wealth. Systems don't burn out. Step 2. The 80-20 rule. The lazy person's brain is wired for efficiency. They're always asking, what's the least I can do to get the maximum result? That's exactly what the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, teaches. 80% of results come from 20% of actions. Think about sales. In most businesses, 80% of revenue comes from the top 20% of clients. In investing, 80% of growth might come from the top 20% of stocks. In productivity, 80% of progress comes from 20% of tasks. Hard workers tend to scatter their energy everywhere. Lazy people zoom in. They cut the noise and double down on what really matters. That's why you'll often see someone who doesn't look busy, but somehow pulls ahead financially. They're not doing everything. They're doing the right thing. Step 3. Make money work harder than you do. Lazy people love shortcuts, and the ultimate shortcut is this: make your money work harder than you do. This is where investing comes in. Put your money in the right place, and suddenly your dollars are employees. They clock in, they work overtime, and they never complain. Let's say you save $1,000. If you let it sit in a bank account, it barely grows. But put that same $1,000 into an index fund growing at 10% a year, and in 20 years, it's nearly $7,000 without you lifting a finger. Lazy people understand this instinctively. They don't want to grind for decades just to get by. They'd rather plant seeds, stocks, real estate, digital products, online businesses that grow on their own. That's not laziness. That's leverage. Step Step 4. Say no. A lot. Here's a hidden wealth strategy the lazy have mastered. They say no. They say no to busy work. They say no to meetings that go nowhere. They say no to projects that won't pay off. Lazy people value their time because they don't want to waste energy. And here's the truth. Wealth is built not just by what you do, but by what you don't do. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that could have made you rich. The lazy person avoids this trap by default. They're not interested in being busy. They're interested in being effective. Step 5. Outsource everything you hate. Lazy people hate tasks they're bad at, so they outsource them. They don't spend 10 hours struggling with taxes. They hire an accountant. They don't waste weekends fixing their website. They pay a freelancer. They don't edit their own videos if they can pay someone to do it better. This is where so many grinders go wrong. They think saving money means doing everything themselves. But the lazy person knows the truth. Every hour spent on something you hate is an hour stolen from wealth building. Here's a simple example. Let's say your time is worth $50 an hour. If you spend 5 hours on a task you could have outsourced for $100, you didn't save money. You lost $150 in potential value. Lazy people avoid this trap because they refuse to suffer through things they don't enjoy. Instead, they focus only on what creates the most money and joy. Step 6. Build assets, not jobs. This is the ultimate lazy wealth principle. Jobs require you to show up. Assets don't. A job pays you once for your time. An asset pays you again and again, even when you're not there. Assets can be a YouTube channel that pays ad revenue on videos you uploaded months ago. A rental property that sends rent every month. A digital course, ebook, or template that sells online 24/7. Even a stock portfolio quietly growing in the background. Lazy people naturally chase assets because they want money without constant effort. And this is the true secret. Wealthy people aren't necessarily harder workers, they're asset builders. Think of it like this. The hard worker chops wood all day for warmth. The lazy person builds a fireplace that burns automatically. Who's warmer in the long run? Step 7. Rest is the weapon. Here's the part hustle culture hates to admit. Rest makes you rich. Lazy people rest often. Naps, vacations, downtime. On the surface, it looks unproductive. But behind the scenes, rest is their weapon. Why? Because wealth is a thinking game. The best ideas come when your brain has space. Ever notice how your best ideas pop up in the shower or on a walk or while daydreaming? That's your rested brain connecting dots. Meanwhile, the grinder is exhausted, running on caffeine, and missing opportunities because they're too burned out to notice them. Lazy people give themselves space to think. And those thoughts? They often turn into million-dollar ideas. The lazy formula for wealth. Let's tie this all together. Lazy people get rich because they build systems once that work forever. Focus on the 20% of actions that give 80% of results. Make money work through investing and compounding. Say no to distractions. Outsource what they hate so they can focus on what they love. Build assets, not jobs. Rest enough to think clearly. At the core, they don't see laziness as a flaw. They see it as a strategy. Their refusal to waste energy forces them to find smarter paths. Final thought. So here's the paradox. The lazy person doesn't end up broke on the couch. They're the one lying on the beach, sipping a drink, while their systems, assets, and investments keep paying them. Meanwhile, the grinder is still stuck in traffic, still chained to the clock, still trading time for money. The secret to wealth isn't to grind harder, it's to think like the lazy. To design your life so you earn more by doing less. So next time you catch yourself feeling lazy, don't beat yourself up. Ask instead, what's the smart shortcut here? How can I make this effortless? Because in the end, laziness isn't the enemy of wealth. It's the secret to it.